Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Amira, Minister of Justice and Witness for Clackamas United Church of Christ and community activist. I have my friend Bree here. Hello, Bree.
Hey,
Nice to have you. Welcome.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so a really quick little backstory. I met you a couple of months ago through a group of awesome humans in Salem. And a couple months ago, you put something on your page and it struck my attention. It was something about, hey guys, if I do a part 2 to this kind of like a survey in the community about Black Lives Matter, would you guys be interested? And then I reached out. So, Bree, if you can tell us a little bit about who you are and how this project even came about.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, my name is Bree. I've lived here in Salem for 12 years now. I originally grew up in Portland. So being in Salem that long, it's a small town. I feel like we have a pretty tight-knit community already here. And then what happened with the project was a year ago. So it was right after George Floyd was murdered, and a few days or a week, I don't even think a week had gone by, and tensions here were really high all the way across the country, and then I remember this one morning, I woke up and got the news that they had that the police station was burned down in Minneapolis, and that was, I don't know, I just felt like a fire, like within me, just erupt from that news. It was like go time. Like I was like so stoked. Like I was so happy. Like it feels weird saying like I was happy that the somehow the police station got burned down, but like I cannot tell you any other emotion that I experienced. Like I was just like, yes, like it was like a weight lifted off of me, and I was like, okay, like where do I fit in? Like where do I fit into this? Because I want to do something. And so that's how that project started, was just within a few days after that. um I just had all this energy and I didn't know what to do with it. Like I'm white, um I want justice for people, and I want equality for people, for everybody. And I just felt like I needed to do something to help the community. And I know, like, I had heard people talking in Salem about, at the time, about wanting to know like where they could spend their money, or where not to spend their money. And so I just decided, well, I guess I could do, at least for like the small community of, my friends or people or their friends, whatever, a couple degrees of separation out, I could at least get the word out for them of businesses that are downtown. And, so I just went around and talked to the business owners. I talked to upwards of a couple dozen business owners downtown Salem, and just kind of tried to find out, where they stood with the whole movement and what was going on and what they were willing to do to be anti-racist, basically, and stand in solidarity with the people here in Salem who were outraged at what happened with Floyd and what's been happening forever. And so,
Yeah. How did you approach them? Did you just walk into the store? Did you call them first?
no, I didn't call them. I didn't even have a list of like specific places I was going to. I went to Party City, and I picked up some window chalk, like just some white window chalk, and I threw it in my Jeep, and I wrote on my windows of my Jeep, and just like wrote some people's initials on one side of the. I had like dark tinted windows, so the white, wrote it on there, wrote Black Lives Matter on the back, and started rolling through town. And on my way downtown, right after I had painted up my windows, um, I did have this feeling like driving my car. I mean, I did. People are gonna see that, especially here. Like, I don't know. It's not Portland, Like, I think maybe so. Just driving from like South Salem to downtown, I felt kind of like, oh shit, like I just did that. Like people are looking at my car, and I was like, man, I wonder, if I'm gonna park somewhere and somebody's gonna come, smash my window or say something to me, or whatever, or some weird stuff like that, road rage, weird, cut me off or something. But I was like, whatever, that's what happens. That's what happens. Like, come on, that's a sliver of the fear that, Black people have to walk with every single day. So the least I can do is like face that fear that I get, the choice of like doing whatever small thing I could do to stand with them. And so then, yeah, I went downtown. I just parked down there, and then I just, wherever I found my first parking spot, it's the first business I walked into. And I was like, hey, is the owner here? Like, I need to speak with the owner or manager, please, for just like 5 minutes. And they were like, okay, like, I was like, matter of fact, just like, I just need to speak with the manager, the owner, like just 5 minutes, that's it. And so then, a lot of the places were like, okay, like kind of confused, whatever, and they went and got somebody. Like, there's usually an owner was there, or they could get a hold of them really quick for me. And they didn't ask me like questions. They were just like, okay, and they got them for me. And then, I would ask the owner like, hey, I just wanted to know if it's all right with you, if I could put a positive message on your window with some window chalk. Like, I can make it as big or as small as you would like. I could do it nice and clean, like good font. I'm not gonna like graffiti anything, but I'd like to write a positive message such as Black Lives Matter, or justice for Floyd, even just BLM. I could abbreviate for you, but I'd like to be able to give you the opportunity to put that message out for the community right now. There's going to be a rally. There's going to be doing a march through downtown in a couple days, and it's a good opportunity for you to show solidarity. And I'll come back to your business if you let me. I'll come back to your business and wash it off myself after that march. And so that's the way that I asked.
Wow. And so the people that said no, which was about half, what was the common theme of why they said no, do you think?
Most of the people, I would say like half of the people that said no or more, they really didn't even want to talk to me at all. Pretty much as soon as I said Black Lives Matter or George Floyd or whatever word that it was, like a trigger word, that to them, they were like, no, just like shaking their head and like, no. And they're like, no, you need to leave. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. Thank you for your time, and like walked out. But the other half of the ones I said no or less, I tried to have conversation with them if it was comfortable to do so. And so with those people, the theme was basically fear of property damage, and fear of losing customers. So, revenue and property damage, it was like, those were the two main things that people talked about. Not wanting to, basically, I mean, they would say things like, oh, we don't want to politicize our business, or we don't want to get into that whole thing, like, this is our business, and it was like, okay, well, you're politicizing human rights, like, that's cool, but
Yeah.
it wasn't my, like, I just wanted to go, and I tried to be really open and like really gentle, like assertive but gentle with these people. So no matter where they were at and what they were willing or not willing to do, I was treating them with respect, and I wasn't there to argue with them or to change their mind about anything. I was simply presenting an opportunity. And if they said no, I went to the next spot. So because of that, I was able to find out people had, a couple of them got really vulnerable with me and told me really what they were afraid of. And that's, I got so angry because, it's hard to not, especially with a couple, it was really hard not to like argue, back to them, and just to listen to like really how they felt and where they were at with their fear. And it was like, okay, well, I just leave you with that. Like, thanks for showing that to me. And like, damn, that is ugly. That sucks.
Yeah. And you could have been the first person to plant that seed for them to even think about that. So that, It's pretty courageous of you. And I know you're not doing it for kudos, but I think it's pretty awesome. And I know there's been some talk about releasing names of, the businesses in the very beginning, and you felt one way and you seem to be feeling a different way. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so in the beginning, like I said, I didn't want to argue with anybody or change anybody's mind. I was just trying to basically find out for the community, like, spend your money here, don't spend your money here, or whatever. And so I thought, well, at least if I go and take all the businesses I said yes, they'll obviously have art on their front window for 2 days. So if you're downtown a lot and you're out and about, like, you'll see it and you're gonna remember that, and just go spend your money there, whatever, go support them. And people were like wanting to know, really, like, a part of the community was really, really wanting to know which businesses didn't like say it, which ones didn't let you do it. And I was like, not wanting to shame anyone, because it is your fear, the fear is valid. Okay, like, your feelings are valid. And at the end of the day, like, everyone's gonna make their own choice and they have the right to that. And I really wasn't trying to, like, I didn't want to be shaming anyone. But at the same time, now after it's been this whole year of us, man, fighting for just equality, just basic human rights. And it's sad, and it's hard, and you just get tired, and like, it's angering. And so it's to see, there's one business downtown that Noble Wave, it's super popular, right? Like, really, really hot spot, everybody loves it, right in the center of downtown. And like, next door they've got a business that's owned by BIPOC guy. So I asked that guy, he was like, yeah, I'm all about it. Like, right around the corner from them, there's another business where they've got black people in there, like their manager is black or something. And across the street, there's an Indian restaurant. And like, so anyway, you got a good mix of people downtown, business owners who are like working, whatever. And just like, to have that be, it's like, this is your neighbor, And so when I went to Noble Wave, also, they're Louisiana style kitchen, right? That's the food they serve. So they already, without going in there, I know just from looking at the menu, like, this business is profiting off of Black culture, period. So I'm like, it's also right in the center of the heart of downtown Salem. It's like where everyone goes. So that would be the ultimate spot to have something up. And especially with the type of place it is, I was like, so I went in and I talked to the owner there. And there's actually a few owners. I guess it's like a few owners that own the place. But the one that I talked to that's there most of the time, I met him for the first time that day. And we had a long conversation. And he told me, he said he couldn't say yes because he needed to talk to the other guys. And I said, well, when are you going to talk to him? That's great that you want to talk to them. When are you going to do that? Because I'll get back in touch with you tomorrow morning, because I still have time to get this up on your window before the march if you talk to them tonight. And he was like, well, I don't know, like, I don't want to lose any business. And which is, he's like, talked about COVID, it was already COVID and they already just lost so much business they had to shut down their restaurant, so they had a hard time. And he was really afraid of losing revenue, losing customers, and then property damage too. He was like, if you don't, I don't really want, like, if it's on the window, like, I don't know about having it on the window, and he was just really vulnerable with me about like where he was at with that. And it, I walked away from that like really bummed, because he was like, I'm totally on your side, like, I love what you're doing, thank you so much, but I can't be a part of that. Like, that's just for the business, like, that's just not going to be good. And leaving that meet in particular was really tough for me in the weeks following, because like that, it took some time to digest and process everything that I talked about with him, and continuing my activism work, in whatever way that continued out for the next few weeks. And it even over the course of the year. I mean, it's slowly, I've never forgotten that specific interaction. And you know, I look back and, you know, they have people of color working minimum wage in their kitchen, in their you know, front of house serving, you know, they're just busting their asses out there. That place is super popping. And these people break their fucking backs for minimum wage, and they can't, you know, it's just like, and it's already, like I said, profiting off of Black culture. It's just, it's so fucking predatory, sorry, but it's just like,
Okay.
It's really made me super angry to just know that that's, you know, that they weren't even willing to. It's just sad that the fear outweighs the you know, the care for people that much. Like, even to just put something up for a day, like, which is completely performative. They wouldn't even, you know, they won't even do that. And it was like, man.
Yeah, I have an issue having I have a no hate here sign in my yard in the front, and I'm constantly worried that someone's gonna throw something at my window or something. And even in my car, I have an F racism sticker on my bumper, and I'm like, one day someone's gonna break something, but I hope not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so what's next in this project?
Well, so I went online because there were people asking, you know, can you release a list of names of these, all the businesses that said no, because we really don't want to go there. We do not want to give them our money. Like, that's what the community was telling me. So I was like, well, yeah, let's do, like, how about I do a second round, and go back through downtown and go back to all the businesses if I can, if they'll let me go back to the ones that I went to. And then maybe some new ones or whatever, and just reassess, like, where are we at now, after this last year? Like, is it the same? Is it different? Like, what are those conversations going to be like now? So that's what I started doing, is a second round of that. So I've got one business owner that I talked to so far, and slowly but surely I will get the rest of them done. And this time I think I'm gonna try to, like, actually do, like, a report at the end and release that through somehow get that out.
I think it would be cool. We can do a part 2 and wrap it up after you're done. I think it's awesome. It definitely caught my attention. I was like, hey, we need to talk about that. But I have one last question I like to ask everybody. What is your superpower?
Man, that's tough. I don't know. Maybe the first thing, I'll just say the first thing that came to my mind. You said superpower and I immediately started thinking about magic. So like, I love using my imagination, playing with like, with kids. Like, if I'm, like, watching a friend's kid or something, and I was just like, pretend the floor is lava or there's dinosaurs or whatever. Like, I really just, like, fully engage with that, like, kid mind, you know, and, like, just go for it and just have fun. So I would say that's a superpower, because I think a lot of times, I don't know, I feel super in that moment. Like, you don't really let yourself do that much, and when you're just with kids, you just kind of let yourself go. Then
Cool, thanks. And I didn't tell you about that one. I totally spaced it, but
yeah.
you're like, hey, wait a second. Thanks so much, and I really look forward to seeing the outcome of this. Thanks for your work and your activism.
Thank you.
Yeah.